What's up, guys? My name is Zach Golden. I am a filmmaker, director, writer, actor. I do all sorts of stuff in the in the arena that is filmmaking. And another passion of mine is Star Wars and also fan films. And so I was like, you know what? Why not make the best of both worlds? So essentially, what I'm doing here is I will watch a fan-made Star Wars production. I'll react to it. I'll review it. And at the end of it, I'll essentially break down the fan film. We'll talk about it for a little bit, talk about its high points, its low points. And then when it's all said and done, we'll wrap up. And I will give what's called the Rotten Melu Run score. See what I did there? And today I'm actually in my studio here at West Bradenton Baptist Church. I am a video producer here as well. And I figured, while I have the equipment here, I might as well use it. And honestly, the setup is so nice, I might just use this setup from here on out in my fan film review videos. So today we're going to be watching SCOREKEEPER. This came out literally 2 months ago, so it's brand new. And I've only seen it once, and that was right around the same time that it came out. I remember just being absolutely blown away, but since then I've forgotten most of the fan film. There's high points that I definitely remember, but for the most part, it's not very fresh in my mind. So I'm kind of looking forward to being surprised again for things that I might have forgotten. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys, talking about this film and seeing what can come up. Also, I just want to clarify, I don't have any kind of pedestal. I don't work for IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that. I'm just a guy who enjoys watching films and talking about them. So without further ado, let's watch a Star Wars fan film. That's such an awesome sound.
Major, we've got contact! Gold team, move! Go, go, go! Xander, take right! Green team, push in! Target's at the center of the upper level! There! Take the kill off!
Wow.
Let's save that roof! Rail 103!
Like, that's an actual set. Nice.
Now, move, move! We're pinned down! Both sides! Kiss the crippin' dirt! Heavy fire incoming! She cuts in a vac tube.
You can definitely feel the Predator vibes. All the characters.
Relay. Yes, Major. See if any civilians need our help. This place wasn't always Imperial. Copy that. Get them to evac or lock down. The Empire is gonna swarm this place. Xander, call in position and situation. Get our U-wing on the hook.
Got it, Major.
Dak! Nice work.
Great plan, Major. Always good to have the higher ground.
Major, found her inside with the beacon.
That doesn't look like a Wookiee.
No, I'm not a Wookiee. I'm the one pinging you. I need help to get out of here.
Clearly. Where's the Wookiee?
I don't know. He gave me the locator beacon and disappeared into the woods.
What are you doing here?
I'm a doctor. A local doctor.
With a drop leg holster?
You do know where I was voluntold to work, right? Now hand me a blaster and let's get out of here.
All right, Doc. Do it.
What? Why? I have intel on the Empire that you need. I know the planetary network.
Ah, good. Don't get yourself killed.
This is the things I get.
It's Dr. Aphra.
I know better.
I think I've only read like 2 issues of her comics.
Major, civilians are shaken up, but they know to lock down and stay clear of the area.
I've also seen her in like crossovers in the main Star Wars comic book line.
No.
She's alright.
No asset, though.
So we're leaving the Wookiee then.
Negative. We'll scan from the air soon. Elite, look around. See if you left a trail.
Yes, sir.
Dak, keep this area secure. Be ready for evac. Talk to me, Xander.
Major, surveillance says we got Imperials all over this quadrant. Jimmer's in last low. U-Wing's on standby.
Todd.
Ties? Not long. There is a gap in the terrain to the north. Your scanner shouldn't mark us from that direction. They'll be coming in while we fade away.
Lule, plant some beacons here. Give them something to look for while we fade away.
And some party poppers, sir.
The louder the better.
Copy that, Major.
Major, Wookiee tracks. Go off to the north.
All right. North it is. Xander, take lead. Double time it. You went off this rock. Keep up. You fall behind, you're on your own. Dak, scratch this zone. We're too out to pick up. Lule, wrap it up. We move.
Why does it always have to be a Griffin forest?
Oh, that's so true.
Welcome to the party.
Major, Xander found something new on the Wookiee's trail.
What's he got?
There's blood, and something else in pursuit.
Troopers?
It's not Imperial. He couldn't get a good track scan.
Good work. Come on.
Remember the Shadowlands on Kashyyyk?
You mean Guerrera. Yeah. He's hard to forget. Come on. Catch up to Xander. Tell him to hold tight.
Cool little name drop.
Major, you're gonna want to come take a look at this.
Did you find the Wookiee?
I can't tell.
Lock down. We're on the way.
Xander! 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 Xander!
There were no plants and animals harmed in the making of this film. Oh dear.
Dioxys! Move, move, up the hill! Move, move, move! You're dead! Dak! Dak! Get her up, get to the city!
I've got Dak. Go, blast! She's the asset now.
You better be right behind us.
Just hold that U-wing.
If this fan film doesn't scream Predator, I don't know what does. And yet it also screams Star Wars. That's impressive.
Sir,
I know.
Know what?
We're being hunted. All of us. You know that. What's your name?
Shelley?
Shelley. We make a stand. Now.
Excellent.
Huh?
Oh, nothing. Just setting this thing to stun. The Empire is paying well for rebels these days. Even more so for live ones. All right. Who gets to be the lucky payday? Now where's these? Back to the ship. Huh? Where's that shock remote?
enough of this Imperial scum!
Oh dear.
You know, he was stunned. They were worth way more alive.
Oh my god.
Not to the scorekeeper.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, well, you and your goddess owe me for this score. Next time my ship needs repairs, I'm billing you, and she can pay you back.
Credits are meaningless. Only the hunt matters. You should have waited to reveal yourself, Afra.
Well, I didn't feel like getting gassed again. You nearly killed me back there.
The scent pleases me. Come, let us collect what is left of them.
Wow. These guys look like so much fun. Oh, I haven't seen this.
Alive. This time.
BOSSK. I hear some fool is accusing you of being the best. Boba! You son of a cloner!
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That was awesome. Wow. Is that it? Yeah. Wow. Matthew Sumner. Okay, so the leader of the rebels also played Boba Fett in that scene. And he was the fight choreographer. Wow. All right. There's a lot to break down here. Initial thoughts are... I mean, wow. Yeah. First of all, they set themselves apart from most fan films when they open up with a set like that. That is something that you very rarely see in fan films. So right off the bat, they are off to a great start. Man, I'm still like looking at my notes, and it's just, I can already tell this fan film is just, it's just solid. Like, there's just some projects that come your way where it's just like, sure, there might be some areas where it could have been better, but this was just solid overall. So from a cinematography standpoint, throughout the whole film, it felt very Rogue One, and maybe it was the Rebel Troopers, and maybe it was just the overall pace of the film, but it all felt very, very meticulous. There was obviously some very well planned out details that went into how the camera was being used. There were moments where it was handheld, other times I could tell it was on a Steadicam. There are other times where it was just sitting on a tripod. And I actually want to talk about that for a moment, because if you watch the original trilogy, there are dozens of shots that were taken on a tripod. And in that time period, that's how most films tend to be shot, was carefully planned, tripod shots, stationary shots, and that was just how a lot of people filmed things back during that time. As we kind of progressed and got into the Steadicam game, a lot of people started using that, and what we kind of discovered in that way was that movement is movement. If that camera is moving, it just brings more emotional flair to your shot. There's just something about that camera pushing in towards the actor while they're having that emotional moment that just adds more depth to the scene, to the character. So that said, I don't think they planned their stationary shots as well as they could have. There were moments where I wanted to feel that suspense, I wanted to feel that emotion, and they picked a stationary shot instead of a moving shot, which to me was kind of a minor letdown, because that was an opportunity I think was wasted. But it's very nitpicky. That's just a very small complaint that I have as far as the cinematography is concerned. Other than that, I was sucked in the entire time. I mean, you were watching. I mean, I didn't want to look away, besides when I wanted to take my notes. Directing, I had like have like no complaints with the direction, because I could feel exactly what the director was going for, and he hit every single mark perfectly. I felt like I was watching a Predator film, but I also felt like I was watching a Star Wars film. Like, there wasn't any point where it felt less like Star Wars or too much Predator. Like, it was the perfect balance between those two films, and something like that being done correctly is, I mean, let's just say very difficult. So props to the writer, props to the director. You guys did something that's very difficult to accomplish. Anytime you combine universes or combine stories in any way, whether it's within the same universe or when it's spread out over different franchises, that is a mountain to climb, and you guys climbed it, and you planted your flag at the peak because you own that skill now. Like, this was just such a beautiful just matchup, and I really hope you guys come out with a sequel where we get to see some Boba Fett and BOSSK action. Maybe it's reminiscent of Alien versus Predator this go around. You know, who knows what that would be like. But yeah, wonderful experiment. You succeeded above and beyond. Like, whatever. Like, what? I'm just gonna stop there. Like, you guys watched it. You understand. Acting is something I want to kind of get nitpicky about. I have very little idea of who Dr. Aphra is. I understand that she's like a very intelligent explorer type character that's a bit more on the anti-villain, leaning towards the Empire, kind of like Boba Fett, where he's a bounty hunter, but he works mostly for the Empire. Dr. Aphra is similar in that way, from what I've read, from what I've seen. But to be completely honest, she was never a character that gripped me. And watching this fan film a second time, I was really hoping that I would get kind of a better impression of Dr. Aphra. And to be honest, this didn't help her character very much. I didn't fully understand why she, of all characters, needed to be in this fan film. Honestly, you could have replaced her with anybody else and it would have been better. As great as everyone on this cast and crew was, the only times where I felt like the acting was falling short was when Dr. Aphra was on screen. I think the actress could have been utilized in a much different and better way, frankly. And ultimately, Dr. Aphra's character left something to be desired, for me personally. Now, for you guys, if you found comic relief, if you found yourself chuckling at her scenes, then that is a good thing, because that's exactly what they were going for. They were looking for that character that provides the driving force of the narrative. She was that character pushing the narrative. You know, they're trying to secure her, and you know, take her back to the Rebel Alliance base or whatever they were doing, and she was kind of guiding the narrative from the moment they apprehended her. And she was supposed to be that comic relief. And if you guys ended up laughing or chuckling or even smiling at her scenes, then the writers hit the marks. But for me personally, I felt like there were things that could have been done different. I felt like there are other characters in Star Wars that could have replaced her. But that's just my opinion. Who am I? Editing. I had no complaints for editing. I felt everything was cut and spliced at the perfect moment. There's never any time where I was pulled out of the story, and that is a sign of good editing. I've said that in almost every single one of my videos, is anytime you're editing, if you notice it, that means it's bad. Like, if there's ever a moment where there's just this jarring cut or change of pace that throws you off, pulls you out of the story, not a good thing. I did not feel that for this fan film at all. As soon as the title came up, I was sucked in, and from beginning to end, I was I was in that film. Like, I felt like I was part of that journey with those rebel troops. So as far as editing is concerned, great job. I have no complaints whatsoever. Great stuff. Visual effects, better than most fan films that I've seen. It's very good. Loved the sound design for BOSSK's spaceship. Just that rumbling noise that I just love. The planets, spaceships all looked pretty good. There were a couple of times where I felt the value of the spaceships could have been done better. So I took some points off for that, but honestly, like, how often do you see fan films with visual effects that good? So props to you guys. Good job with that. Soundtrack was amazing. Like, it felt like John Williams' own work, which says a lot, because there are some people who are working with Lucasfilms that don't do as great a job as this guy. I don't see where. Let me see if I can find him in the credits. Might not be able to find it. Anyway, great job with the soundtrack. It was very immersive. It felt like Rogue One. Like, I was getting Rogue One vibes throughout the entire thing. So good job with that. Next up, let's see. Makeup and costuming. You guys take first place. You guys are like top tier. I mean, like, why is it that, you know, you watch some like Hollywood produced films where they put a lot of effort into makeup effects or costuming, and you're kind of watching it and it's just kind of like meh. But then you watch a film like this and you're just like, why aren't these people like working for Lucasfilms right now? I mean, BOSSK looked so legit. The moment he showed up, I was like, okay, this is no longer a fan film anymore. This should be like, I mean, at this point, this is in my mind canon, all right? Like, he showed up and I bought it. Like, that was BOSSK on the screen and I believed it. And the blinking eyes and the, you know, just the apparatus, it was just so well done. Costuming, everything down to the Wookiee scalping that was in his hand. Oh my gosh, like that was BOSSK on screen, and I believed it. It didn't pull me out of the story. It didn't jar me in any way. That was BOSSK. That was the BOSSK that we see in Empire Strikes Back on screen for everyone to see. And it's a fan film. Like, what the heck, guys? What is wrong with you? Why are you this good? Why are you guys not like working with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau right now? I don't understand. Also, Dr. Afra's costume was also very impressive, even down to the little tattoos on her arm. I don't even want to know how long that took you guys or how difficult that was, but great job. Looked very seamless. All the Rebel troopers, great costuming. They looked just like Rebel soldiers, but at the same time, they had their own personalities. With each costume, and they had their own character. It wasn't like you were looking at copy and paste, you know, Rebel troopers where they all looked the same. Like, no, everybody had their own look, their own personality, just like in Predator, where the squad of soldiers each has their own tick, their own look, their own vibes. So great job with makeup and costuming, guys. You win all the awards. Sound design. No complaints for sound design. You automatically get points if you have the Wilhelm scream in there, so good job. We need that. Yeah, like I said, I really enjoy the spaceship sounds. The audio of the actors was seamless. Everything down to the smoke bomb going off and the blasters, the sound mixes and all that stuff. I had no problems with it. It was great. Set design, like I said before, very impressive. Opening up with that was absolutely genius because, unfortunately, most fan films take place in the woods. Like, it's just one of those locations where anybody can do it. It's accessible to everybody, and it's the most Star Wars looking thing on our planet, unless you build a set. And you guys did both. Like, you built a set and you used the woods to your advantage. That said, if I'm going to get nitpicky about the set, there were a couple of moments where I could make out the roadblocks quite easily. And then there is the fact that your fan film later does take place in the woods. But at the same time, you took advantage of that because that is a Predator location. Like, Predator films take place in the woods. It's that environment, that jungle environment that just speaks to not just Predator, but also BOSSK. So even though it's a cliche in fan films, this actually serves a purpose to the story. Whereas in other fan films, they're only using the forest because that's all they have. So good job taking advantage of that, using it for your project. I also love how you wrote that into the dialogue where the guy says it's always a Griffin forest. Like, that's great, knowing that you guys are also aware that of that cliche. So good job, director, writer. The director is Roman Santa Croce. Croc. I am so sorry that I butchered your last name, but here we are. I'm just going to call you Santa because watching this fan film was a gift to mankind. And it feels like early Christmas. So, Santa, good job. Okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Okay, next we've got the Star Wars factor. Now, if you don't know the Star Wars factor, that kind of encompasses the writing, but then on top of that, the Star Wars factor is essentially just how Star Wars is your film. And again, I've already said this a couple of times, but SCOREKEEPER is great, and it is completely unique from any other fan film in the sense that this is a film that is both Predator and Star Wars. It felt like both of those universes combined. And so I have no complaints for the story. Everything from the music to the every aspect of this production served the purpose of feeling like a Star Wars film and a Predator film. So you guys get 5 points for all that. Okay, so rounding up all the numbers, we've got cinematography. I gave you guys a rating of 4.5 out of 5. Directing, solid 5. Great job, Santa. Thank you for this wonderful gift that you've given to us all, even though I've been naughty all year. Just kidding. All right, I'm kidding. Acting, I gave a 3.5. There were just a couple of low points as far as the character of Dr. Aphra is concerned. That is in no way representative of the actress that played her. I can tell that she can act. You can tell when people can act based on how they are manifesting the screen. When she was on screen, when the camera was on her, she owned the camera. So, and that is a trait of a good actress. And so, good job. My only complaint is that it was Dr. Aphra, and it was I just couldn't get on her side about pretty much any of the scenes that she was in. But again, she captured the camera every time she was on there, so good acting in that sense. But there were just a couple of moments where I was just left with something to be desired. I don't even know what that thing would be, but that's just where I was. Editing, solid 5 out of 5. You guys did great. There was no point where I was jarred in any way. Visual effects, 3.5. I think there could have been more value in some of the VFX, but that's just me. Soundtrack, solid 5. I felt like I was watching Rogue One the whole time. It was great. Great soundtrack. Makeup and costuming, perfect. 5 out of 5. No further words added. Set design, right sound design. I gave that a 4.5, just because there were a couple of moments where the blasters just felt a little too repetitive, a little too not mechanical. Let's just say it didn't sound like the blasters were being shot in the forest. They felt like they were pulled online, thrown into the timeline of your editing program, and just matched with the flashes of the blanks or the guns you were using, which is likely what you guys did. But that's why I give it a 4.5. And the Star Wars factor is a solid 5. So great job with that, guys. All right, so I'm going to round up these numbers, give you guys the Rotten Mailuron score, and that will close our episode for today. So just give me one moment while I go math, which could take a couple of hours because Lord knows I cannot add or divide or any of those things to save my life. So I'll be right back with you here in a second. All right, folks. So after further review, BOSSK Scorekeeper, a Star Wars fan film, gets a Rotten Mailuron score of 91%. Beautiful fan film, felt very Star Wars while also feeling very reminiscent of the Predator films. Beautiful soundtrack, amazing makeup and costuming. You guys went above and beyond. You have set the standard for what a Star Wars fan film should be like. So good job, you guys. Good job, Santa. I pray that you give me more gifts this Christmas that involve BOSSK and Boba Fett. I need that. I want it. I need that twice. So, yes. All right, guys. Again, I don't have any kind of pedestal. I'm just a guy who likes watching fan films and talking about them. So if you have a fan film that you would like me to react, watch, review, dive in and break down and rate and review and all that good stuff, let me know in the comments. Also hit subscribe, comment, all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. Other than that, that's all I've got for you today. May the Force be with you always.